Zerbi, but unfortunately for them, it was a case of the same old story as they were beaten 1-0 at Sunderland, and that makes it 14 now without a win in 2026. 106 days now since they actually tasted victory in the Premier League, what we were saying yesterday as well, that just 1 point which came at Anfield from the last possible 24. There is a real battle on here now for Roberto De Zerbi, who lost Kudus in the build-up to the game. He has now lost Christian Romero for the rest of the season. So can you, Jamie, find some slivers of positivity for Spurs fans watching on?
It's difficult when you look at that. And it's a new manager coming in. I said this yesterday. We're going to look at a couple of little things he did, but it's almost not really about that in some ways. There's how many games to go now? 6 or 7 games to go. It's like, it has to happen right now. And some of the scenes I've seen at the end I didn't like. People sat down on the pitch almost feeling sorry for themselves, as if, oh, everything's against us, you know, the lucky goal. No, not everything's against you. Look at that. It's your fault. It's down to you. You know, the results are on the players. And they mentioned they were unlucky with the goal. OK, maybe with the deflection, but a lot of what went on before the goal wasn't unlucky. But just wanted to have a little look at what De Zerbi did, because we were talking before the game yesterday. I showed some clips of De Zerbi's Brighton. So there was a lot of similarities, but it wasn't exactly the same. So what we had initially, as we've seen a lot with Brighton, you'd have your sort of 2 centre-backs, and then you'd have this sort of box in midfield. Now, normally, you have your right-back here, but normally he wouldn't play with a striker. So he's got a front 3 there yesterday. Normally the striker would be down in one of these positions and he'd be your left-back would be there. So that's how they'd normally set up. So it was slightly different with the front 3. We normally see them without no striker and getting penetration from the wide area. So a little twist on what we probably expected or what we saw from his time at Brighton. But what normally happens is they're always trying to get the ball into these midfield players. Archie Gray, Conor Gallagher here, almost just turning the bodies, not quite sure if they should be getting on the ball. Conor Gallagher dropping into a left-back position because of Doggy's in this inside left position. But that, for me, is really good football. But because I know De Zerbi and he always wants to go through the middle, was that because they couldn't get the ball into the midfield players? So that's something we'll speak about and see over these next few weeks. But this was in the first minute, and this was one of the best moves of the game from Tottenham. Very unfortunate, as I said, very early on not to take the lead here in this situation.
Different story, perhaps, if they score that.
Yeah, of course, and they need that because mentally they're so fragile right now as well. And the best attack came just before half-time. Again, I keep talking about the midfield players here trying to get on the ball. They're not doing enough for me to get on the ball. But again, this is great football. Great pass from the goalkeeper out wide. But again, I go back to De Zerbi's football. He always wants to use those midfield players. But as I said, brilliant from one end of the pitch to the other. A Doggy, who was the real sort of standout for me for Tottenham. So they were the little green shoots, if you like, going forward. But this is the goal. And today I've heard a lot of people sort of saying they were a bit unlucky. Tottenham, I don't think they were unlucky. They were unlucky with the initial shot, but before that it was really poor. And I go back to the midfield, and Tottenham have had a problem in midfield all season with 3 different managers. And we just look at the set up now. They've almost dropped into that 4-4-2 position. Now we're going to put the ball out here to the goal scorer. Now you've got 5 Tottenham players here, right, around him, almost like a cage, all facing that way to push him there. He has to go there. It can't be any other way. So 5 players around it. So when you say you're unlucky, that for me is not unlucky. That can't be allowed to happen. But the 2 biggest culprits for me are the 2 midfield players, Archie Gray and Conor Gallagher, in this position. And before we run it on any further, if I tell you now that's where somebody is going to score from, that's where the goal is going to be scored there. So that is not unlucky. It's not. It can't be. But Roy, Conor Gallagher and Archie Gray there.
Yeah, not great. Obviously not. It doesn't look good in them. And we mentioned earlier about if they're not great technically on the ball and they're not comfortable getting the ball, then they better be good defensively. And even Gallagher, small details but important. He's just got to slow down there. It's far too easy. And even Gray there again, these young players learning their trade. He's got to get out there, leave the runner. That's far too easy. And when you're down there fighting for your lives, these are big moments. And again, it's not unlucky. It's got to be stopped earlier. And again, a bit of football intelligence, know the danger. Again, slow down and show them down wide areas. To me, that's the basics. You've got to do the basics right when you're down fighting for your life.
And it was a deliberate decision from Roberto De Zerbi to go with youth in his midfield with Bergwijn and Gray, alongside Conor Gallagher, who talked up before the game as he wanted to see the Chelsea version of Gallagher. But they're up against someone of great experience in Granit Xhaka in that midfield, who alone had almost as many touches as those three managed, twice as many passes he made into the final third. He made 5 tackles, not one between those three players.
Well, that reflects the balance. I think the balance in midfield of Spurs is obviously it's not right at the moment.
How do you fix that?
But obviously he's got. To be fair, the manager's only been a week or two. I don't think you're going to see
10 days. I think he said he had in the build-up.
How many sessions with that? He's not going to have a great reaction. It's maybe next week after learning from a game. You can do all the training sessions. He'll learn more about the game now. But obviously they're up against it. But Brighton's at home next.
Brighton at home. And you've got Palhinha, you've got Papsar, who both came into the action here, I suppose might be more defensive.
Yeah, and when you looked at the run earlier, all these players will be lacking in confidence. Yeah, they do have quality players, and they won a trophy last year, but the run they're on, and again, going up to Sunderland was never going to be easy. So let's give Sunderland a little bit of credit. But this is where he'll be looking for reaction to bounce back. And it's a home game. It's Brighton. At some stage, you've got to start winning football matches. It's
a 5:30 kick-off there. We remember what happened the last home game against Nottingham Forest, the big build-up, the fans outside, the big fanfare with the team coach arriving, but it had the reverse effect on the team, really, didn't it? So Spurs on 30 points right now. I said 38 would keep you safe over the last 14 seasons. So if it's going to get to 38 points, it's 3 wins, Roy. Can you see 3 wins there?
Yeah, I can. Again, we're critical of them. We look at their performance at Sunderland, they look at their record over the last few months, but I still think they're going to get out of it. I do. I just have that feeling they'll produce something, and obviously they've got to start quickly, and that's with Brighton at home next week. I think they're capable of beating Brighton. The manager used to manage Brighton. Sometimes you need something like that to kind of get you over the line. And obviously they're more than capable of going and getting some momentum and beating Wolves.
Do you think, Jamie, from what he would have seen on Sunday at Sunderland, that he might come up with something different for that Brighton game?
Different in terms of personnel, maybe. And I want to just go back to the midfield, and I don't want to be picking on young players, because I actually think Bergwijn and Archie have been 2 of the better players for Tottenham. The 2 young kids. I'm just looking at that midfield, and I was really worried yesterday after the game, and it was because of the midfield area. 2 young kids learning the trade going to get you out of relegation battle. Conor Gallagher's come in, who the manager likes because he's tried to buy him, but it just hasn't worked for him so far at Spurs. Listen, we know he's been a decent Premier League player, but it's just not happened for him at all. And that has been a problem from the very start of the season, their central midfield. Now, we keep saying Spurs, and Roy's right, they've got quality players. Well, a lot of the attacking ones are injured, but they've got a back 4. Yesterday, looks decent. OK, Romero's out. But obviously, you've got Van der Ven in there. Top defender, 2 fullbacks who are decent as well. But the one area I look at in terms of centre midfield, I do think the teams they're fighting against, West Ham have got a better central midfield than Tottenham. So have Nottingham Forest, and so have Leeds. So that is my one big worry for Tottenham in terms of going down. And when you think about something he's got to do different, he needs to fix midfield, because that has been a problem for 3 managers already. It's only Zerbi's first game, but you can see when you compare the stats to Granit Xhaka, it's a huge problem.
When you look at the Spurs midfield, Jamie, you're on about what are they really good at? Because you have to hang your hat on something if you're going to play in the Premiership. Are they really good going forward? Are they a real goal threat? You go, no, not really. They're not technically great. They're not good at getting on the half turn. Well, are they amazing defensively? They're not great at that either. So that, talking about the spine of your team, that is a huge part of the game. But I still think they'll do enough to get out. I don't know. I
hope they do.
Huge game.
Appointments all round for Roberto De Zerbi in his first game in charge of Tottenham Hotspur, their 3rd manager, of course, this season. They're 13 games without a Premier League win. And given the fact all the great games you used to have against Spurs with Fulham and Manchester United, I mean, can you believe they've gone 13 games without a league win? Their 3rd manager, and they're in the bottom 3, Edwin.
Yeah, it's a real mess at the moment. I think changing 2 managers and having your 3rd one, of course, that's not a healthy situation. Different methods, different tactics, different players. I know they have a lot of injury now. The captain also injured probably out for the season. So in that way, they are really in a dogfight, and they're not used to a dogfight. We spoke about challenging for titles, or maybe playing for survival. And certain teams they've been there before. Tottenham not. So I'm fearing for them.
He'd had a week on the training ground.
Yeah,
Roberto De Zerbi, not just a day or 2. Could we see anything little differences, any shoots of positivity in his first game?
Well, we could see differences. I mean, let's have a look at Roberto De Zerbi team. This is them on a goal kick. You can see the back four. Then they've got the middle two. The attack. The number 10 there. And then when you look here, this is really interesting. High and wide. I mean, he went and played his three strikers basically, but this was a common theme. Players playing high and wide, pinning the full-backs back. And a lot of the time, as we've seen for a long time under De Zerbi, he likes to outnumber teams, even from the back, you know. You look at this situation here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goalkeeper 6 against 3, really. So he likes playing out in this situation. The problem is they're under that much pressure and they've got that lacking in confidence that even a 6-3 is not really that comfortable for Tottenham at the moment. And when we see clips, looked at a lot of social media in the lead up to this game. There's a lot of clips of Tottenham on the training ground, and he was trying to get his point across in terms of love the ball, be comfortable with the ball, and you know, so that's what he's trying to get across. Again, similar scenario. You know, you've got your back four, you've got your two, and then this will develop into a high 3 here again in a moment. So that is a De Zerbi setup from a goal kick. You can see them trying to play out, and once they do break out, it actually can be very, very good. They can look very dangerous. But in general, Steve, they looked a bit toothless the other day. Defensively, they conceded a few chances, but it wasn't a mess. This is not long after that chance, about 30 seconds later. And again, you can see in this scenario, they've got a very solid 4-2 in this situation. 3 subs about to come on, so they're obviously, you know, a De Zerbi team. They're expected to run, so they're probably feeling the pinch a little bit. But it's in this situation here, Richarlison makes a big mistake. He jumps out when he shouldn't, and as soon as he does that, it's 2v1. And listen, there's a lot of a look about the goal. It takes a deflection. We all know if you're down there and you know, all the luck goes against you. However, little details like that are going to have this man thinking and scratching his head as well. But signs of a little bit of change. But the first thing he needs to do, forget tactics, forget anything else, he needs to inject some confidence into this team because they are so lacking.
Yeah, and as Adrian was alluding to, reports that Christian Romero, their captain, is out until the end of the season, that he won't play again for Roberto De Zerbi this season. So Spurs, remember, haven't been relegated since 1977. They are in the bottom 3. Let's have a look at the teams at the bottom. And, of course, Leeds in the Monday Night Football with a huge 3 points and injection up to 36 points. And they have Wolves and Burnley to play at home. So I think both of you gents think Leeds now will be all right. So we'll narrow it down to Forest, West Ham and Spurs when you look at those fixtures, and they're separated by just 3 points with 6 games to play. Who would your charity bet be on to go down, Adrian?
Yeah, that's going to be difficult, of course. We talked a little bit about confidence, about creating chances. When you have, Michael explained a little bit about the back four and everything, they're not throwing away, giving a lot of chances away, Tottenham. But you need to score goals. So see West Ham minus 17, minus 11. Goal difference can be a part also on that part. So maybe Nottingham, it's going to be okay. But yeah, you need to start winning games. And you've said you haven't won in 15?
13 league
13.
Games.
So you have 6 left. You need to win 3, probably. 2 draws, maybe. But hard one, Michael. You're more experienced in the Premier League, so.
Well, what we've got is Leeds that have got the best run in. Wolves and Burnley at home, they'll be all right. Forest, they're in decent enough form. Burnley at home, that's a winnable game. Of course, at home on the last game of the season, and they've got 3 points ahead of Tottenham. West Ham are probably in the best form out of these 4 teams. They're playing exceptionally well. They've got the momentum, and they've got a couple of games that they possibly should win as well, a couple of home games that they might have a chance in. I mean, before this weekend, I thought it's between Leeds and Tottenham to go down. But after that result tonight, I'm favouring Tottenham to go down, I'm afraid.
Well, they say they need 3 wins. They've won 2 in 23. Tottenham Hotspur, it is looking bleak. We've run out of time on this week's Final Word. Thank you very much, Edwin. Great to see you.
Cheers.
Having you with us. Edwin van der Sar, our guest. From the 3 of us, we will, of course, see you on the next Monday night.
Congratulations, both of you. It's a win that takes you 6 points clear of the relegation zone. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's a massive result for us. We knew that coming into the game. We came here to win. That's how we set up, and we executed the game plan and obviously come away with 3 points, so we're delighted.
We spoke before the game that Leeds hadn't scored in a couple of Premier League games. It didn't look like that at all. Less than 5 minutes in and you're on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think that I can score and help the team for this. I'm really happy and proud, but in the end I have to say to everyone, to every player, to every staff that are with us, a big compliment. We was fighting till the end, and in the end they deserved 3 points.
Talk to us about the second goal as well. How did you see it? It was really well hit, but also the confidence that gave the team.
Yeah, I think I hit it well. I try, because when you don't try, the ball can't go in. So I try, I scored my second goal, so really happy about that. And this brings us even more to the game. And in the end, we knew we had to defend as a team. We did it well, so really, really excited and happy.
There were 2 very big moments that you were involved in. The first one, of course, the sending off from Lisandro Martinez. You were involved in that. How did you see it? Did you expect there to be a red card for him?
I don't know. I don't make the rules at the end of the day. I felt my hair get pulled and obviously told the ref, and he's the one that makes the decisions at the end of the day. So, yeah, unfortunate for him, whether he's meant it or not. You know, I don't hold no grudges, but it is what it is, isn't it?
There was another big moment because you stopped, ultimately, Manchester United getting an equaliser right on the line. How did you see that? Yeah, I was just in the moment, you know, just switched on and just engaged and waiting for the ball to come in and just doing my job. And thankfully I was there this time to, well, it's 2 of them, wasn't it? To clear the ball off the line and, you know, arguably make up for the ones that I should have put away in the other end. When you're looking at how you managed this game as well, you saw Manchester United getting a goal back through Casemiro, but you managed to hold out to get 3 important points. Is this the kind of performance, the kind of mindset that you need to take you through the rest of these games?
Yeah, I think, of course, we knew the goal was not at the right moment. So we knew we had like another 20-30 minutes to survive, like to make sure that we as a team, defend as a team and attacking as a team. So yeah, in the end we take this and we're looking forward to the next games.
It's going to be a tricky couple of weeks, you know, really important few games to come as well. But surely a game like this, a performance like this, has to give you so much confidence.
Yeah, it does, and I think it's important we don't read too much into the external noise, and we continue to focus on what's in front of us. It's easy to come here and, you know, make history and all this, that, and the other, but it doesn't matter when come the end of the season when the points tallies are in. So that's all we're focused on, and just one game after another, and making sure that we stay in the Premier League.
Well, you got the trophy in your hands. If you'll do the honours, please, to award the player of the match.
Hey, well deserved, brother.
Yeah, well done to them. Could actually be an amazing season for Leeds if they do stay up. They've got their first FA Cup semi-final since 1987 to look forward to against Chelsea as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin might have scored as early as the 3rd minute. Noah Okafor did after 5 minutes, Jamie. And you have to say, at that moment, Manchester United just looked stunned.
They did, and listen, we know Leeds came into the game, they sort of, you know, that system, he played 5-4-1, but actually in the build-up we can see it's almost like a back 4 in this one. Players just getting in between positions and lines, that obviously difficult for Manchester United to pick up, but I just felt some of the football from Leeds in that first half was absolutely outstanding, and I think that would worry the teams near the bottom as much as the result. That was a confident performance coming to, right now, the most informed team at home in the Premier League. And when you were looking at it, in that first half, it felt like Leeds were the team who were in the Champions League positions and Manchester United were the team fighting relegation. That's how big the contrast was, and it didn't flatter them at all. And that goal just sums them up, really. They go from one end of the pitch with the goalkeeper, and Yoro was the only man to touch it, slight touch on the head, and then they finish it brilliantly. It
was a really good instinctive finish as well, wasn't it, from Noah Okafor? And perhaps that, Roy, gave him the confidence to try his luck.
Yeah, of course. And then obviously United causing their own problems here, trying to be too smart at the back. Obviously Leeds are going to be hunting them down, not quite getting their clearances properly. And again, Leeds getting bodies in the box. Obviously delighted with the start they've had. And then if you don't shoot, you don't score. Good connection. Poor defending. People could say it's unlucky, but he's got to defend better than that. But to go 2-0 up, and the way they started the game, getting bodies forward passing, And I said before the game, they wouldn't be coming to Park to bus Leeds. They do turn up and have a go at United, and they got the rewards for it.
They absolutely did. Lomond's beaten here with that deflection as well, which took it beyond him, and there was no way back from there for Manchester United. Let's hear from Daniel Farke, sunk to his knees at the full-time whistle. Here he is with Payne Mullenstein.
Daniel, congratulations. It's a really big victory. First of all, how do you feel after that performance?
Tired, relieved, but also proud of the boys. I think fantastic performance we had into the crunch time period of the season, and it's important to keep the nerves and to stick to your plan. I think fantastic first half, should be higher up than just 2-0, if I'm honest. Missed also many chances. Was a good start into the second half. Then sometimes a red card can change something. I didn't have the feeling at all, but we were a bit sleepy in one set-piece situation. But then, of course, it's more or less like it's still Man United away. It's and also difficult to bring it over the line as a newly promoted side. But to be there with the first win, I think in our whole history on Premier League level, first win here since, 40 years is amazing. And, of course, a big step forward.
We spoke before the game as well about the lack of goals in the last couple of Premier League games. Within 5 minutes, already on the score sheet, how much did that please you about the way that your team approached the game today?
Yes, very happy for the boys, because goals are always important for momentum in the game, but also a sign of why we should be performance-wise in a much better position. Also today could have been way more effective, should have used our chances even better to bury the game before. And on the other side is the team packed with top class players, and they could bring quality from the bench in. And if you don't bury the game, it's always something possible, especially for the home team, Man United. And this is also why we have to stay humble. We are not perfect. We are sometimes there also with a mistake. We are not the finished end product, but we are on a good path, and also on the way to achieve something really positive during the season.
You mentioned there it was a slightly different second half. Of course, there was a red card sending off for Martinez. What did you make of that decision?
Yes, I've not watched the scene back. I was just told that it was a hair pull, and for that a red card, I guess. Once the VAR has watched on it and said, okay, you have to break the game, and then the referee goes out and watches back, and was then probably a red card, but I haven't seen the scene. And was a bit worried, because we had such a good momentum, and sometimes such a situation can change a bit the momentum. I would have preferred more or less to play further on 11 versus 11, but it is how it is, and in the end we won the game, and I don't complain.
How do you see the way that your team had managed that second half, managed to keep hold of those 3 very vital points despite what happened?
I would say 95% really good. Of course, the situation with the goal in overload, you shouldn't concede then out of second phase on the set piece. On the far post and underload. I think we are overshifted, we're not aware enough. So there was a small mistake also in the final minutes. We could have killed the game with a bit more possession, calm the game more down. There were good periods, but it was not perfect. Overall, I'm pleased, and I know the lads were also nervous. It was not the easiest week. We had several players also out and just in training for 2 days. Jakabiol, Gabi Gudmundsson, Noah Okafor. I was happy that we could find solutions without Anton Stach, without Joe Roden today. So big compliment to the whole group, and for that, we were not immaculate today, but overall really good.
So 6 points clear of the relegation zone, still a handful of weeks to go, but that puts you in a really good position. And does that give the team the confidence required for these next couple of weeks?
Yes, confidence, definitely. Win is always good for the mood, for the confidence, also for the table. But the reality is also like performance-wise, we should be only with far more than 40 points. And I think this team has performed over the whole season with unbelievable consistency. But we can be more effective in both boxes. And for that, the reality is we are on 36 points. A few more points are needed. But of course, we edge tonight 3 points closer. Important step, but nothing is achieved yet. We have to stay humble. We have to stay grounded. We have to stay hungry, and need to make sure that we're also on it in the upcoming games and win as many points as possible.
Congratulations today. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Tonight, 4 defeats in the last 23 matches for Leeds United, and perhaps he deserves a little bit of praise as well this evening, Roy.
Yeah, he was under huge pressure. Even there was talk about him changing in the summer, and then when they had a kind of sticky patch over the season, there was talk about him leaving, but he's proven to be a brilliant manager. Obviously, the win tonight, even getting to a cup semi-final. They've got a bit of momentum now, and the way they played tonight, they played with a lot of confidence and belief. And we saw his reaction at the end of the game. He's quite a kind of calm guy, but he'd be He'd be fairly pleased.
I think he was. I think that's fair to say. And there they are, still in 15th, but with a 6-point gap on the bottom three and Spurs. How do you see it now, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, listen, what I said before, listen, those teams down there, they'll all be watching tonight, the supporters, the players, the staff, and that'll be a big blow for them. Psychologically, you know, you think that's a game Leeds should probably lose today. They'd be looking at the home fixtures and saying, OK, probably looking at maybe getting 4 points at least, maybe from those 2 home games. But you factor in, could they lose at Old Trafford to win?
Do you think Wolves are sitting there thinking this? We've been just entirely disrespectful about them all night
well,
because
to be honest,
we're saying it's almost a given they're going to get something in that game.
I think almost everyone's a little disrespectful of Wolves because they're near the bottom. Actually, I think Wolves have been a really tough proposition for a lot of teams in these last few months. You think of sort of what they did to Arsenal, what they did to Liverpool, what they did to Aston Villa. Obviously, this is different. They're going away to Leeds. But it's certainly a game, if Leeds play well, they've got a great chance of winning. It's not being disrespectful to them. Unfortunately, that comes with the fact that Wolves are bottom of the league and the same with Burnley. But the thing for me was the performance. That wasn't the performance of a really poor team. That was a performance of a really good team.
Well, he says that's been the level all season. They've deserved more. Do you agree?
Yeah, listen, I think most managers always say they deserve more. Listen, it'll sort itself out at the end of the season. But when you're going back to Tottenham, because Tottenham are the big story down at the bottom, let's not forget that. There's obviously a relegation fight every season. To see Tottenham there, you can't quite believe it. We have not seen a Tottenham performance like that in about 6 months.
Well, for what it's worth, I think Opta have got Leeds' relegation chances about 2.4% now. So they think it's pretty much done.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Big win for Leeds United. Reminder, they are 6 points clear now of the drop zone with their first win at Old Trafford in the league since 1981. Right, let's speak to one of their heroes, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, live at Old Trafford. Dom, good to see you. I think I'm right in saying the first time you've won at Old Trafford, so how good does that feel? How significant for Leeds?
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, really good feeling. We coming into the game, we came in confident, knowing that they'd had quite a long break from their last game, and we'd had obviously the FA Cup game, so we knew we wanted to start the game fast, and I think that's what we did. You know, a couple of chances early on, and thankfully Noah put his away, and we held on and got the 3 points.
Dominic, well done. It's Michael Owen here. Just looking at your season as a whole, you're in double figures in terms of goals. There looks like a real robustness about your play at the moment. Is there anything that you're doing in training or whatever to get yourself out on the pitch consistently this season and put in those consistent performances?
I think it's just momentum. You know what it's like when you're a striker. Once you get the momentum and the rhythm of playing games, it's just one after another. When you're in a cycle of not having that, it's tough to kind of get that rhythm. So thankfully I've got that this season, full of confidence, and I'm a little bit older now, a little bit wiser when I'm playing, so I know my way around a football pitch, and I think that's my experience has helped me this season, particularly with us having quite a young squad, and I've been happy to lean on that and use my experience when needed.
Dom, you're involved in 2 big incidents in that second half. First of all, the red card. I mean, did you feel that pull straight away from Martinez?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I haven't seen it back, and there you go. I don't make the rules at the end of the day. Yeah, he's probably a little bit unlucky. I don't probably think he's not meant to grab my hair like that, but I told the ref. It felt like he pulled it a little bit more than what it looks like there in real time. So yeah, and unfortunately for him, he's been sent off.
And listen, Casemiro's goal just asked the question, didn't it? But you had a double block 5 minutes from the end that proved crucial at the other end of the pitch from your normal role.
Yeah, it was just complete flow state. I was just in the 6-yard box thinking if anything comes my direction, I've got to try and block it. That's my role. I had one against Villa, which went just above my head. I wasn't able to flick it off the line, so thankfully today I was there in the right position. And then for the second one, I just flung a leg out and thankfully it hit me.
Very well done. Now listen, talking of experience, you've had this at Everton a couple of times down at the bottom of the Premier League. You know what it's like. But tonight, to go 6 clear with 6 to play, I mean, what kind of injection of belief is that within the group?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive, and obviously a big celebration after the game. I don't know if it's because I've been in this position before and I know what it takes, that I wasn't as maybe upbeat as what you might think after that performance, but it's because I know that the next one is even more important, and then the next one is more important, and we have to stay focused. We can enjoy the moment, and it's a massive 3 points, and I think great for the fans as well. But for us as players, we've got to focus on the next game, and until we're mathematically safe in the Premier League, then we haven't done our job.
And because of that experience, have you spread that message? Because you've been there with Everton, you know what it's like. You don't want a Bournemouth day, do you, on the final day?
Well, that's I know how it can be, and whilst it's in your hands, you want to make sure you capitalise on that and grab it with both hands. So we just have to stay focused. I'll be, again, there when needed for the boys, and using my experience just for this final push and this important part of the season. But I think we definitely enjoyed tonight, and we can be happy about our performance.
Really well done. Good to see you. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.